tayo ay mayroong copy for references later on. All right? So let's continue. So I have here some facts and figures. And as you can see in the slide, you can see here a picture of a woman. So the facts that I'll be telling and I'll be showing you using the slides here and the presentation and the facts and figures here are taken from UN Women, United Nations Women.org. And these are the facts about women. Okay. So first fact is gender inequality is a major cause and effect of hunger and poverty. It is estimated that 60% of chronically hungry people are women and girls. So I'm just asking one question right now for everyone. What do you think is the essence of these facts and figures that now that we are celebrating the Advocacy Month for Women? Do you have some insights regarding the Advocacy Month for Women? And this fact and figure number one that shows that most of the chronically hungry people are women and girls, saying there is a 60%. Sinong may insight about this? Do you know this? Or may idea ba kayo regarding this? Or anong reaction nyo about this? Anyone? You can use the raise hand button. Pwede rin kayo mag-type ng answer sa chat box. How do you feel about this figure? Is this something that you think is an issue that we should resolve? Is this something that we should campaign so that we can help these women who are hungry? Ayan. Anyone? I think hindi mahanap yung raise hand button, ano? So can I call and can I hear an insight from Nico? Nico, are you there? Ayan,
Yes, sir.
yes, Nico. Okay. What is your reaction about this one? Go ahead, Nico.
Yes, wait. For me po, since hot issue rin po yung gender inequality in this time po. So, siguro po my insight for this is,
Do you find this something that we should be happy about or kailangan nating may gawin tayong action, Nico?
for me po this hindi po siya magandang pangitain for me kasi po it defines po yung pagiging sa nga po yung gender inequality nagko-cause siya ng ng major effect sa pagiging hunger po yung poverty that that can affect po the economy to fell down po ganun.
Okay. Ayan. So, kung kanina, thank you, Nico. Very good. Yes, Jana, you're raising your hand.
So for this figure po, sir, for the gender inequality, we can see that even if we are in the next generation na po, we can still feel the women can feel the same privilege as the men have po. So like that po. So we should campaign for that po. Kasi today po, dapat we acknowledge women na rin po na they can do everything that a man can do po. So this is not a good figure po kasi 60% po ng people are women and girls po. So I think we should do something to reduce that po.
Okay, very good. Thank you as well for your insight, Jana. That's correct. This is from the United Nations Women website. So these are based on researches. And I have seen that this one is a fact and figure since 2012, ever since the start of the United Nations Development Goals. So isa din yun. So I found this one very interesting to include in our insightful discussion for today. Also, for the second one, if there is a bad news on the first bullet, on the second bullet, we can see something that is good that women is contributing, and that is in terms of agricultural labor force for some developing countries. So as you can see here, there would be an increase in the reduction of hunger among people in the world because women are part of the growing labor force for the farms. Na as you can see here, 20 to 30% ng total ng output ay nakukuha mula sa contribution ng women as they are also working in the field. No? So you can see clearly here that there is a positive side of women and there is a positive contribution of women as well. So why am I saying these facts and figures? It's because as you have heard, this is a Women's Month. This today is a part of Women's Month. And so we are trying to advocate something as well, starting inside the classroom. Another fact and figure that you can see here, and I hope that one will have an insight from the class, is that out of 796 million illiterate people, illiterate, hindi nakakabasa, hindi nakakasulat, here is the percentage for women. Okay, so what can you say about this one naman? Anyone? Can I hear from Erica? You can speak in Filipino or in English. Erica Danao, ano masasabi mo rito?
Yes po. I think po based on now's situation po, women mas prefer po ng mga men na magtrabaho agad kasi po more on responsibility or pressure po sa kanila. Somehow po sa women is mas gusto po nila na ginagamit yung utak or mas naniniwala sila na more on mas napapaano po yung world if more on knowledge about something to improve something po na hindi lang about logic or things na nakikita lang po natin.
Ayan. So there is that development according to Erica, no? So from this statistic, makikita natin na kahit meron ng ganong development sa sinabi ni Erica, thank you for that, Erica. That's a good insight as well. Ayan, makikita nyo pa rin dito sa figure na 2/3 pa rin nung hindi marunong bumasa at sumulat ay babae. So there is something wrong with that. Bakit majority of the 796 million illiterate people in the world ay babae, kahit na meron ng thinking yung mga babae na mas interested sila sa education. So that is another matter that we could tackle on more, no? So thank you very much for those insights. I can see that you are concerned about women, no, as a whole. Ayan. Lastly, this one, men's average wages are higher than women. Ayan. What can you say about this one? And also, rural women typically work longer hours than men due to additional reproductive, domestic, and care responsibilities. Ayan. So this is something more on the gender roles naman, no? Bakit naman kaya kailangan natin ng bakit naman kaya ganito yung statistics regarding the wages, no? So what can you say about this one? Can I hear from Rialyn? Can you open your microphone, Rialyn?
Yes, sir.
Yes, okay. Any insight from this? Okay lang yan, no? Pare-parehas tayo may background noise.
I'm sorry. Kasi sir, for me, maybe because men has the highest wages than women, it's because they are their job is may include as blue collar jobs, sir. Like they're usually yung heavy yung work nila, kaya siguro mas mataas o mas malaki yung sinasahod nila kaysa sa mga ano po sa women, kaya mas malaki po yung job ay mas malaki po yung sinasahod po nila.
Okay, very good. Yeah, thank you, Rialyn, for that insight. So in this part naman, no, there is also a thinking that most of the higher positions in the company usually, di ba? Men own that position usually. So what we do to eradicate that gender bias is to simply have a simple campaign starting within our classroom. That's why we are having this insightful class today. So thank you very much for those insights. And I know that during our class discussions, you'll be able to have more insights regarding the value of women. Okay, so let's proceed. All right, so our main discussion for today is having a similarity with what you have seen earlier. You have seen facts and figures regarding women. You have seen data. In research, we are treating data as if we are treating it like air. We need it. No? So sa research, kailangan natin yon. It is essential that we have data for us to present evidences for our claims. Now, for us to present data in best possible way, we have to study about the data presentation tools. And that is what we are going to discuss today. So broadly speaking, there are several methods. Particularly, there are 3 methods of data presentation now for research papers. First is we present data usually in textual format. As you have seen earlier, di ba, yung sa first slide natin regarding the agriculture, regarding the wages, they are presented in textual format. Second, tabular format, wala pa tayong nakita niyan, but you have dealt with that way back in your PR1 and PR2. And of course, diagrammatic format or the diagrams. So these are the 3 common ways to present data. First, let's have an insightful discussion regarding the data presentation for textual medium. Okay. So in this particular slide, you can see here that the description for the textual format is that it is the simplest out of the 3 that I have mentioned earlier. So kanina nakita nyo, syempre, di ba? It's simple because you just need to present the data in sentence format. And that's it. You just need to summarize, condense the information, and then you just present it in textual format. Okay? So an example, as you have seen earlier, no, meron tayong example kanina, pero I can add some more regarding that. Still under the facts and figures about women, there's still far less access to clean and improved water sources in rural areas than in urban areas. In 2008, an estimated 743 million people living in rural areas relied on unimproved sources of drinking water. Okay, so this one is more on environmental aspect naman. Ayan. So as you can see, may mga figures tayo na nandyan, may data tayo nandyan. Okay? Can you please identify the data that is presented there? Can you give me one data na nakikita dyan? Anyone? Pwede kayo mag-chat, you can send it to everyone para makita din nila yung naiisip natin. Okay? Meron po ba? Can you please type in the chat box, or you can also raise your hand using the raise hand button. Jane Carlo, do you have have you identified any data here in this example? Can you please identify one?
744 million people living in rural areas.
Ayan. So as you can see here, merong figure dito, 743 million people living in rural areas relied on unimproved sources of drinking water. So it talks about the sanitation with regards sa drinking water, di ba? Ayan. Meron pang isang figure dito na makikita. Dalawa pa pala. Sorry. Data tayo, no? So pwedeng yung data is in date format, pwede rin namang figure or statistics, di ba? Ano pa yung data na makikita natin dito aside from that? Can I hear from Jilliana? Meron ka bang nakikitang data dyan, Jilliana? Aside from 743 million? Pwede kayong mag-type sa chat box kung mahirapan kayo mag-open ng microphone, ha? Ayan, mukhang hindi tayo naririnig ni Jilliana. So let's call Jana. Nag-raise ka na, ha? Jana, yes?
Yung 141 million in urban areas po.
Okay, so this one is in comparison. Very good. 141 million naman yung tao na hindi ganun ka confident sa unimproved sources of drinking water. No? So this is an issue for the entire world. As you can see, there is a great figure here. This is in millions. No? So this is also something that we should address. And how do we do that? We could start by having a clear and good objective in terms of having clean water sources. No, sa bahay natin, you can check your water sources. so that you can start by ourselves to reduce this number. Okay. Now let's move on and try to discuss the second type of data presentation, which is the tabular form. So as you can see here, the tabular format is from the root word table. Of course, you can see there's a table here, and there is a textual format for us to convert into tabular format. No, so yung textual format that we have discussed earlier, we can convert that into tabular format. As you can see here, in the textual format, the data that we can see is it is in terms of the respondents population. You can see that there is a 60% of male and 40% of female. And that can be also seen using a tabular format or tabular data presentation, just like you can see here. Now, what do you think is an advantage of having a tabular format rather than the textual format? Meron ba tayong advantage na nakikita? No, based from this example, meron bang nakikitang kagandahan ng paggamit ng tabular format versus sa paggamit lang ng textual format? Can I hear from sino nagtaas? Okay. Daybelin, yes?
I think in tabular data po, it makes easy for us po to analyze the data given po.
Yes, no, that's a great insight. No, coming from this example, you can see that kapag textual format, di ba, it tends to be long in some cases. Now, for the tabular format, you can just see at one spot, no, nandun na lahat. You just need to look for the figures there and the labels of the table, of course. At nandun na yung data natin. That's also a great insight. Jana, meron ka bang additional na insight? Nagtaas ka rin ng kamay?
So unlike in that po, the first data presentation po, tabular po is you can easily see the percentage of the data po. So it makes it easy to find po. So
Yes.
unlike the other one po.
Very good. No, so mas madaling tignan. We can already perceive the data just in one glance. No, yun na yun. Nandiyan na agad yung data. Okay? And also, no, aside from these two data presentation tools, we can have another one, which is in diagram format. So diagrams can be the following. So we have geometric diagrams, bar graph, pie graph, frequency graph, and line graph or line diagrams. Of course, this session will not end without having a session on how we could utilize ICT and available resources online for which we can make diagrams. But before that, this is an example of a diagram. Yung kaninang nakita ninyo, this is called a pie diagram or pie chart. And to explore more on this, I will be presenting a tool that can help you maybe in the research endeavor that we are doing right now. You will be needing to have a data presentation with regards sa paggamit ng diagram. Before we proceed with that website or that tool, can you please tell me naman what could be the benefit of using the diagram format? So we use the textual format, the tabular format. What could be a benefit of diagram format? Can I hear from Jamil? Yes?
I would say na just like in tabular form po, it makes it easier to understand and analyze the data given and decide yung I feel like the main points of diagrams po is that they are visually appealing and when you parang mas engaging po siya like when you just have a text in front of you, you might be discouraged to fully read it kasi nga parang ano po it kind of takes you back. Parang it's not as engaging as when you use a diagram. And besides that po, if we look at this example in particular, we can clearly see kung ano po yung difference nung percentages nila just by looking at the diagram. I feel like it's the differences po can be seen much clearer kasi mas makikita mo po kung kung gaano kalaking part ng whole yung kino-cover po nung particular factor or element po na pinapresent in the diagram.
Okay, great insight, no? So tama naman, no? I agree with Jamil. As you can see, it is more engaging in the sense that it involves colors, it involves arts, di ba? And at the same time, you can clearly see the data that is being presented here. Now, in our research, you are not restricted. Actually, you're not restricted to having just one format to present your data. But in most cases, we will be utilizing the tabular and the textual format. This part here, this diagram format can be used in cases where we conduct qualitative researches, no? So mas magandang gamitin yung ganyang format. And to further augment that part in our discussion, I would present to you a tool wherein we can create our own diagrams, no? So syempre mahalaga that we know, it is important that we know how to make our own diagrams. Of course, the usage, no? Ang pitfall kasi ng diagram format class is that oftentimes we neglect to see the appropriateness of each type of diagram, di ba? When do we use a bar graph? When do we use pie graph? When do we use a line graph? Okay? So before we proceed with that matter, I want to share with you just for a short time this website called meta-charts.com. Okay? If you type that in your Google browser, you'll be able to arrive in this interface. And you can see here, there are lots of graphs here where we can make. Okay, of course, this is a free website, so you can see some ads there. But in terms of the availability, this is available in almost many types of graphs already, as well as box and whisker, pati na rin yung tally charts. No? If you wanted to make your graphs look better, as you have mentioned, you can use this one. Let's say I'd like to give you an example. Let's say I want to present a data that just like the previous one regarding my respondents. No? So I will use pie charts to do that. Okay, so I clicked on pie charts, and I'll just show you the interface and the step-by-step process, pero mabilisan lang kasi this is not the main point. I just want you later on to utilize this one in making your output for our breakout session. Okay? So if you need to do a pie chart, of course, you will have to select on some buttons here. Kapag sinelect natin si pie chart, you'll arrive at these four interface. Meron siyang buttons dyan for design, data, labels, and display. As you can see here, you can select whether you want your graph to be using the gradient color, just like this one, or just the plain color. Pag gradient color, there is a blackish part sa my corner. No? Yan yung gagamitin. And also, you can modify the background color and the border color. As well as you can also make the graph look like 3D if you want it to be visually appealing or just a normal one. Once you're done with the options here, you can proceed with the data. Yeah, and of course, you will be asked how many slices of the pie graph will you be having. So, ilan bang slices natin? When we talk about gender, diba? Usually, we just use 2 for gender. And let's name the first color here for the male. Yan. I'll just show you quick. And then, female. And of course, you can type yung data natin. Halimbawa, there are 15 male and 5 female. You can just also customize the color of your pie graph, but for me, that would be okay na, yung green and orange. So if you would want to customize, okay lang din. So once you're done, you can go here sa labels, the third one. And then you can name the graph. Let's say the table is about the respondents. So you can name that one. Sorry. Yeah, so I'm putting respondents here. And then you can choose whether you want to display the name and the value of in the pie graph or just the value, or pwede ring pangalan lang, pwede ring percentage lang, or you can put everything, name and percent. I prefer that I put the name and percent also. If I'm done with that, you can check your graph here in the display button. So here is the graph. Hindi na kayo nag-solve for the percentage. Automatically, the graph maker helped you solve the percentage right away. You just inputted some data regarding the frequency of male and female, di ba? Naging 25% na siya. Okay, and then for the male, naging 75% na siya. And you can easily download this one using the download button here. Now, it's up to you to explore more on this tool. I just want you to find it fascinating to use this kind of resources in terms of making your graphs for your research paper and for your data presentation later on during our breakout session. You can also use this one to make Venn diagrams, bar charts, and line charts, area charts, and so on. No? So marami dyan. So I'll stop presenting on that one because I wanted first, if some of you have questions so far, can you please press the thumbs up button kung kayo ay walang questions at naintindihan so far? Thumbs down button naman kung mayroon kayong hindi naintindihan. Okay? Yan. Thank you for the thumbs up reactions. Yan. Yan. Kompleto. So now that no one has questions, let us proceed with our discussion. Let's go back to our PowerPoint. Let me share that again. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Again, the website is metacharts.com. You can utilize that later on once you are making your data presentation tools. Now, let's talk about the formality of the research paper. Now, the research paper in APA format, this is usually what we follow when we are writing a research paper. APA is the American Psychological Association. You already know that. There are different parts of a table that we should know. So here is a diagram that will show us the proper parts of a table using APA format. This is just additional information, no, kung paano tayo magpe-present ng data. First is, of course, as you can see here, please bear with the small writings para magkasya siya. No? There is a table title and the table number, of course. No? You must always number your table from 1 up to n, no? Kung hanggang ilan man yung table na kailangan natin. And please put that table number at the top of the table. Of course, this is followed right away by the table title. No? You don't put the table number without having the table title. No? So, saan tungkol yung data natin? You place that there, right after the table number. And of course, yung nakasanayan natin na table class, di ba, kadalasan, we can clearly see the lines of the table, just like this one. No? So in APA format, they don't want that. You can edit your tables using the Microsoft Word. No? I can teach you that at some other time. But the main point of APA is that we don't need the vertical lines. We just need to show the horizontal lines of the table. So it will look a lot cleaner than the one with vertical lines, of course. No? So of course, we are fascinated with the fact that the table should look like that. But in APA format, it's not that. It's not supposed to look like that way. No? So ganito dapat siya. Okay? And of course, sa ibaba ng table, wag na nating pansinin yung iba dyan, yung mga subheadings. Of course, sa ibaba ng table, there should be an explanation or the table notes. So in research, in other words, we utilize two data presentation tools, no? Particularly in APA format. There is the tabular format at the top. Sa ibaba niya, we have the textual format. And ito yon, no? Okay? So my source, of course, is here, indicated here. I'll be sharing that with you later on. As you can see also, within my slides, there are sources. So that is how you do it properly. Since we are engaging ourselves in research, so we have to see to it that we have cited our source as well. Okay, so you can explore more regarding the types of tables. Halimbawa, no, if we are going to present a table for analysis of variance, no, may proper format yon. And the next meeting, we'll discuss more on that. But for now, we'll be having this one since we are just having the introduction discussion regarding the data presentation. Okay, so going back to our statistics and facts and figures earlier, we wanted to break the stigma. No? So during our breakout session, this will be our breakout session. I will be dividing you into two groups, and please work on your group task in about 5 minutes. No, it would be better if you could finish that in 3 minutes, but 5 minutes is maximum. I'll be setting a timer as well, and here is your task. No? So for group 1, hindi nyo pa alam ang group nyo sa ngayon. So please take a screenshot on the following statistics. the rule is very simple. You just need to present this data using the appropriate data presentation tools that we have discussed. Now, you can utilize yung meta charts kanina kung gusto nyo mag-present in the diagram format. Kung gusto nyo mag-present in tabular format, okay lang din, no? So, as long as your presentation is comprehensive. Okay? So, I'll give you 5 minutes for that. Your group will be randomized. And before we proceed with the groupings part, can I see heart reactions if you have done having your screenshots for this given data? Okay, isa lang ang gagawin, no? If you'll be in the room, breakout 1, you'll be doing group 1. Breakout 2, you'll be doing group 2. Okay? Ayan. So, thank you. Meron ng mga nag-heart react. So, I'll be opening the breakout rooms now. Magpa-pop out po dyan yung join room, no? So, please do so. Click nyo lang yung join room. Okay? So, for starters, the room 1, according to Zoom, this is randomized by Zoom. Room 1 will be Proel, Ligaya, Rusilia, Escobal, Balangkit, Alos, and Olivan. For room 2, we have Delieso, Danao. Okay. And we have our observers. No, nakasama po kayo doon just to observe, sir and ma'am. Jamil, Jana, and Micaela. Okay? I-transfer ko po siguro si Ma'am Joanne sa kabila para ma-observe niya rin yung room 1. Okay. So si Sir Eugene po ay nasa room 2, so you can also observe. Also, class, there is a help button there. Pagkapasok nyo at hindi kayo maintindihan sa instructions, you can press the help button in the Zoom. So I'll be opening the Zoom room now, and the 5 minutes would start now. Okay, so just click join. Yan, please join. Okay, ayan. Jana, press mo lang yung join. Thank you. Myrene, press join. Okay. Hello, room 1. Pwede kayo mag-open ng microphone para makapag-usap-usap kayo. Okay lang yan, ha? And, ayan, sige, Nico, pangunahan mo na sila at ikaw ang unang nag-open ng mic. Thank you. Nakuha niyo yung data? Ito yung data ninyo, room 1, ano? So, group 1. Ayan. So, pag-isipan nyo na, pag-usapan nyo, ano yung data presentation tool na gagamitin. Sige na, Nico, you can lead them. Pwede mag-open yung iba din, ng microphone. Okay, I'll go dun sa kabila muna. Thank you. Ayan, bago ako umalis, mag-open na kayo, magparamdam na kayo. Jennifer, open your microphone. Mark, Juliana, yan. Sige. So magbigay kayo ng suggestions kay Nico kasi alam ko si Nico gagawa yan eh. Go ahead. Sige, lilipat muna ako sa kabila.
Sino yung yung naka-laptop para mabilis mag-edit dun sa sa meta chart?
Pwedeng lang handwritten na graph, ganyan, kung wala kayong laptop. No? Tapos take a picture, tapos send nyo sa GC. I'll be presenting later on. Okay? Hello, group 2. Nag-uusap na ba kayo kung ano ang gagawin?
Yes po.
Apo,
Ayan.
sir.
Pwede naman kayo mag-open mic, dito na lang kayo mag-usap. Yan. Kapag mahihirapan kayo to use the online resource kanina, no? Pwede nyong gawin is handwritten or drawing ng data presentation. Anyway, mabilisan lang naman yun. Okay? Yan. So, ililive ko na dito kasi baka awkward sa inyo, no? So, magli-leave muna ako. Punta ako sa kabilang room. Myrene, nahirapan ka bang mag-join?
Nawala po ako, sir, yung internet ko po.
Okay. Sige, itry kita ulit, no? Anong group ka nga? Isama kita sa group 2, ah.
Sige po.
Yan, pasok ka doon kila Jamil. Tahimik sila eh. Yan. Pag may nag-pop up, join ka lang. Room 1, how are you doing so far? Kamusta? Meron na bang nagawa or ginagawa pa?
Ginagawa na po.
Okay, sige.
Bali po, na-clear po namin pie chart daw po.
Okay, good. Yan. So once you're done, class, no, wag niyo na akong antayin. Pwede na kayong mag-press ng leave room dyan para bumalik kayo sa main session. Para makita ko rin kung sinong hindi pa tapos.
Okay po, sir.
Okay, good luck.
Dito, year 1.
Anong year ba?
Anong
1960?
year? Yung una na
1960. Next.
pangalawa.
1980.
Tapos,
2020.
2020. Tapos,
Hello, group 2. Ano yung napag-desisyonan ninyong figure na gagawin?
Yung diagram po.
Diagram
Tapos
using
bar graph. Bar graph
bar graph.
po.
Okay. Yan. So may x-axis and y-axis yan, ano? Narinig ko kanina year 1, year 2, year 3, nabanggit nyo, no? Kasi 3 years yung sa inyo. So yun
Yes
yung
po.
magiging nasa x-axis o yung horizontal, right?
Yes
yes
po.
po.
Yan, okay. So good. Pwedeng ano lang, drawing lang handwritten, no? Para mabilis. Once you're done, you can go back to the main session.
Okay po.
Just press the leave room, yung kulay blue. Okay?
Ilan na 2020, 91.
21%.
Alright, so naunang natapos ang group 1, ano? So let's wait for the group 2 to finish. Ayan, pabalik na rin ang group 2. Okay, sino magpipresent sa inyo, Nico? Oh, wow, nasend na sa akin. O, sige, ako na lang magpe-present and just select someone who will give a brief discussion. All right. So let's wait for others to go back in the Zoom. Meron na lang silang, wala na. Ayan, pabalik na yung mga yon. Okay, there you have it. Kumusta yung group ninyo, Jana? Natapos ba? Barely.
Barely po.
Okay lang, no? Kasi nauna naman si group 1, so in courtesy of extra time, for you to have extra time, pwede kayong gumawa habang nagpe-present si group 1. Okay, thank you, Jamil, for that. So let's now have your 2-minute presentation regarding your data, no, for the breakout session. Before that, let me present to you the rubric for the presentation. You will be judged in terms of the following rubric. First is for the hand, second is for the mind, third is for the spirit, and of course for the reflections. So for the hand, the highest possible score is 4, which is for exceeds expectations. And that also is the same with the mind, the spirit, and for the reflections. Okay. So let's showcase the data that you have had in terms of the women's facts and figures. So I'll be starting to present since Nico has sent me the image of their work. No, I'll be presenting their work so that everyone can see it. Okay, wait for a while. Okay. There, no? So anybody from the group can speak now.
Yes po, sir. So good afternoon, everyone. We are the group 1, and so we use pie chart to easily analyze our graph or yung data po namin. So according to the forum's global gender gap report, only 22% of the world's AI professionals are female, compared with 78% who are male. So ginamit namin yung pie chart para mas mapadali namin ma-distinguish kung ano yung differences ng dalawang element po, which is yung male tsaka female. So sa sa pie chart po, nakikita niyo naman po na yung mas lamang na yung the worst
Portion. Yes.
AI professional daw po is yung male, which is they have percent na 78%, while yung female they have 22% po.
Okay, very good, group 1, and thank you for presenting, Nico and the group. No, so congratulations. Can you please press the clap button there? Merong clap button dyan, di ba? Katabi ng thumbs up for group 1, of course. Yan. Okay, pwede rin yung yung parang, di ba? Birthday pop-up, yun ba yun? Okay. So congratulations to Pruel, Ligaya, Rosilia, Escobal, Alos, and Olivan. Okay. Let's now have the presentation of group 2. Are you ready now, group 2?
Yes po. Pero sir, can you allow po sharing screen or isend
Yes,
na lang?
yes. Okay. I'll allow that. Yan. Okay na siya. Okay na. Nakikita na siya, Jamil. So parang nakamute ka, Jamil. sa taas. Yeah.
So ano po, this um for this breakout session po, sir, we use the diagram po, since we use the diagram and bar graph po, since the percent are increasing. We utilize the bar graph since it's the most suitable for this situation po. So as we can see in 1960, the the percentage that in that year have are clearly, you can clearly see po easily that the women who graduated high school po increased in the past years po. So in 1960 there are 42.5% women who graduated high school, and then in the 1980 it increased up to 18 or 20% po, which is 61.4%, and in the latest percentage po is 91.3. So it increased up to 30% po. Ayun po.
Ayan. Thank you. Very good also group 2, no? So ito very very good statistic yung nakita ninyo for the second group as well. It's because just like for the previous group, we're talking about professionals, no? Makikita natin na kaunti lang yung women. Now in this part, there is a positive trend naman sa second group wherein there is an increase in terms of the rate and the percentage of women who have higher degrees than high school or even college, no? So magandang ano 'yon, magandang naging nakita natin yung figure. It's because it just means that there is an improvement in terms of the education of women in the entire world, of course. Yan. So great job everyone. Can you please press the clap button so that we can congratulate each other for a job well done for that presentation. Yan. Okay. Very good. So of course, let's wrap things up. Here is a Wonder Woman question. So I'm just wondering, since it's Women's Month, no? So we are pertaining and we are revering our women around the world. So here is a question which is related to our discussion at the same time for women. What do you think is the role of research in promoting gender equality and women empowerment? Given that, yung pinakita ko sa inyo, that is research-based. The data that we have presented are all research-based and are taken from United Nations Women website. So what do you think is the role of research in promoting gender equality and women empowerment? Anyone can answer? Pwede kayong mag-raise hand. Yan. By the way, no, there is a hidden word earlier. If you have noticed, no, bago natin sagutin yan. If you have noticed in my slide, ayan, meron ako mga naka-red na ano dyan. Ewan ko kung meron naka-notice, naka-red na letters. That's EM, then POW, and then ERMENT. So it forms the word empowerment because that is what we are trying to give, and that is what we are trying to make a discussion right now, which talks about we talk about women empowerment, no? So paano natin magagamit ang research with regards to promoting women empowerment and gender equality? Yes, go ahead, Jana.
Since it's a research po, sir, we can see the different struggles of the women po, and that way po, we can see the possible solution to that problem po. So research is a good source, is a good tool to promote equality and women empowerment po, kasi it showcase the solutions to the problems that we have, even if it's already to this generation po.
Thank you. That's a good insight, no? So ang sinabi ni Jana, research can give solutions and can present figures which will later on lead us to solutions to solve some societal issues that we have regarding women. Great insight. How about the others? Meron pa bang additional insight? Meron ka bang masasabi regarding that, Micaela? Bakit mahalaga ang research natin sa women empowerment? At paano natin magagamit?
For
Yes,
me
Micaela?
po, kasi siyempre po 'di ba may statistical data. So namo-monitor po natin yung progress ng women sa mundo. So, maliban po dun tulad po ng sinabi ni Jana, yung research mismo is helpful. So kung gagamitin po nating topic yung gender equality, marami po tayong maso-solve na problems. Yun po.
Very good. Okay. So, ang nasabi naman para sa akin, ang nasabi ni Micaela is yung sa part ng research, no, research is really uh, a compendium of evidences. That means that we collect evidences and statistics. We present that in statistics. And sabi nga nila, numbers don't lie. So, statistics don't lie. And we can monitor whether there is a decline or a progress in terms of a societal factor or a societal issue for which we can address that using research as well. So, very good. Meron pa ba tayong additional insight? One last? Okay, dalawa nagtaas. Sige. Bigyan natin ng chance itong dalawang ito. Yes, Davelyn?
With research po, I think we can gather data that shows the role po of both men and women across different dimensions po. Also, studies can also show po the transitions of women being empowered po as years pass by. And I think research can also open opportunities po to both genders po.
Wow, I like the last part, no, yung opportunities for both genders. Since we're talking about inequalities, although this is Women's Month, no, we are sometimes neglecting the fact that we are promoting gender equality, but in most cases, naiiwan natin yung mga lalaki, no. So that's a good insight also coming from Daybelin. Very good. And last one, Jamil, you have raised your hand.
For me po, having these data presented to us, it just proves that misogyny is real and not just a social construct po. There are multiple implications that misogyny has in the society, and hindi lang po siya hindi lang po siya imaginary thing lang. It really happens kasi po I feel like some men downgrade the effects of gender bias in the workplace just because it's, for lack of better words, culture na ng society na men really have better opportunities. Pero if more people can see these data na sobrang na-undermine po yung women, then maybe it can spark change po within the society to do better and actually make a more progressive society. And besides that po, yun nga po, gaya po ng sinabi nila, we can see kung ano na po yung nagiging changes. Ito rin po, when we see data like this po, it could also, be empowering for women who are of older age kasi they experience a time where mas strict po yung society in terms of gender. So they have this in mind na, kasi babae lang ako, I can do that. That's exactly what my grandmother said actually about Lenny. That's what she thinks kasi nga babae siya, they think na hanggang doon lang kasi that's what the society made them think. But if they see these changes po happening, then maybe they could change that mindset and actually empower their fellow women po.
Wow. Okay. That's also a nice answer. So I have heard clearly that through research, we will be able to enlighten others and spark a change, a societal change perhaps, that we must not undermine the role of women in the society. No? So yun yung nakuha kong insight from Jamil. And thank you for that as well. No? For others who have some insights, you can send that, of course, in our GC after this meeting if you still want some more discussion regarding the statistics, facts, and figures regarding women, since we are celebrating the National Women's Month or the World Women's Month. Okay, so to end this discussion, I'd like you to look on and read more about the facts and figures regarding women. And this time, di ba kanina, you are freely given the chance to explore on the usage of different diagrams at the same time kung ano man yung appropriate that you think is appropriate for the specific data. Now, I want you to look back on this website. I'll be sending this one later on sa ating chat. At hanapin po ninyo yung website na yan. Maghanap kayo ng isa lang na data. Just get one data from unwomen.org and try to present the data there using the APA format naman. So kanina, di ba, you have used the diagrammatic format. What if we try to present it in APA format? So that is what you're going to do. So you have a free choice. There are lots of data that can be found here in this website. I'll be sending this link in any moment now. Do you have questions before we end? Wala?
None po.
Okay. So if that's the case, just wait for a while. I'll be sending the link right now bago ko makalimutan, bago tayo maghiwa-hiwalay. Okay. Yan. And also, let me remind you that you should have your survey questionnaires checked. Currently, you are doing your survey questionnaires. Some are already doing their surveys. So please have them checked first before conducting your survey. Okay? So ayun lang. Thank you very much, class, for attending. I'll see you again in the next meeting. Goodbye, class.
Thank you po, sir.
Goodbye and thank you, sir.
po.
Bye and thank you.
Thank you po.
Thank you po.